You pull into a dealership expecting chaos, balloons, banners, salespeople sprinting. Instead, you hear nothing, just the hum of highway air and a row of brand new cars with $20,000 off slapped across the windshields like emergency tape. The discounts are huge, the lots are full, and the buyers, they're not coming. You walk past a manager pacing with a clipboard. He's not celebrating a blowout sale. He's counting days on floor plan financing. Every sunrise costs him money. Every quiet afternoon feels like another nail in the month's quota. The ads promised a stampede. The reality is dust settling on hoods. But here's the twist. The prices have dropped and the demand has dropped faster. You think 20 grand off? How is that not a stampede? Then you do the math like everyone else. Interest rates punch you in the face. 7, 8, sometimes 9%. Insurance quotes arrive like hospital bills. Dealer fees stack like pancakes. And that big discount? It shrinks inside a monthly payment that still feels like a second rent. And it gets worse. Because this isn't just about money. It's about timing. Families look at their old cars and think, it's paid off, it runs. Why gamble now? Contractors ask, will a new truck make me more money? Young buyers stare at a $700 payment and decide to wait out the storm. When confidence dies, discounts don't save you, they expose you. But that's only half the story. Step behind the glass and listen. Salespeople whisper about weekends with zero-ups. Finance managers stare at empty appointment boards. A veteran closer, 25 years on the same floor, leans in and says, I've never seen it this dead, not even in 2008. On the far side of the lot sits the EV row, spotless, silent, and unmoving. The tax credits didn't move them. The demo drives didn't move them. The market is saying something out loud. No one wants to hear it. And the pressure isn't just here on the retail line. It's rumbling in from the edges. Repo trucks roll at dawn, dragging last year's dreams onto flatbeds. Auctions swell with inventory nobody budgeted for. Rental fleets quietly drop units before the depreciation cliff. A wave is building. Dealers feel it in their stomachs before they see it on spreadsheets. But here's what almost nobody will tell you. The market didn't cool. It stalled, then it locked. Buyers walked away, lenders tightened, insurance spiked, and manufacturers kept building like nothing changed. Now the discounts are massive, the lots are overflowing, and the phones barely ring. Stay with me, because the next piece is the gut punch. You meet a couple on the lot, hands in pockets, trying to want it. They love the smell. They love the screen. They love the idea. But when the numbers hit the desk, the color drains. We thought 20,000 off meant we could swing it. They can't. Not with interest, not with insurance, not with a payment that floats at $650 after the discount. They thank you for your time. They drive home in the car they wanted to replace. That's not a rejection of the car. That's a rejection of the moment. And it gets even stranger. Dealers slash stickers. Manufacturers pay spiffs. Ads shout final days and unprecedented savings. But the crowd never forms. The psychology changed. People don't fear missing out anymore. They fear buying in too soon. If it's 20 off now, they ask, what will it be in 3 months? But that's only the beginning. Because when buyers wait, inventory stacks. When inventory stacks, financing burns. When financing burns, desperation replaces strategy. That's when the market does dangerous things like dumping clean trades, flooding auctions, and destroying resale values for everyone, even the people who already bought. Meanwhile, out on the freeway, you can feel a different pulse. 12-year-old crossovers with paid-off titles, old half-tons with dents that tell stories, vehicles that should have been replaced twice by now, still rolling. Not because people love old cars, because old cars make sense in a way new math can't. Here's the part that flips the table. This isn't just a consumer problem, it's an industry problem. Factories can't pivot fast enough, marketing can't shout loud enough. And dealers, stuck between the brand and the buyer, are watching the oxygen run out. Some are already turning off lights early, others are calling banks to renegotiate floor plans before the interest buries them. But the next move? That's the one that will decide who survives. Stay tuned, because we're about to pull back the curtain on the discount illusion, why 20,000 off still doesn't move the needle, what's really choking demand, and how a wave of repos, insurance shocks, and silent showrooms could trigger the most brutal reset the car market has seen in a generation. And if you think all of this seems dramatic, wait until you hear what the auction managers are whispering off camera. Here's the harsh reality. A discount isn't what it used to be. Back in the day, 20 grand off meant a rush of buyers, phones ringing, showrooms buzzing. Now, silence. Because the discount doesn't hit where people actually live, their monthly payment. You see the ad, MSRP slashed from $72,000 to $52,000. Looks like a miracle. But when the finance office prints the numbers, at 8% interest over 72 months, you're staring at a $770 payment. Add insurance, dealer fees, and taxes, and you're north of $1,000 a month. That's not a deal. That's a nightmare. And here's the hook. Buyers know it. They're not falling for the headline anymore. They run the math before they walk through the doors. They Google loan calculators. They call their banks. They don't get surprised anymore. They get angry. Stay tuned, because this is where the psychology of the market turns brutal. Meet the Lopez family. 2 kids, 1 steady income, 1 side hustle. Their crossover is 12 years old, 160,000 miles, and held together with zip ties. The dealership promised them salvation. $18,000 off this weekend only. They showed up ready to drive something new. But when the numbers hit the desk, $648 a month. Insurance jumped $220. Their side hustle would have to cover the gap, but the risk was too big. They left. The salesman watched them drive off in the same battered SUV, not because they didn't want the new car, because they couldn't gamble their stability. And here's the sting. Multiply their story by tens of thousands. That's what's killing the discount frenzy dream. Behind the glass, every empty lot walk is costing dealers money. Floor plan financing, the loans they use to keep cars in inventory, don't care if the car sells. The interest racks up daily. Imagine you're a dealer with 400 cars on the lot. Each one is racking interest like a credit card. When sales stall, that daily burn rate turns into a bonfire. And when a dealer drops $20,000 off the sticker, it's not because they're generous. It's because the bank holding the note is breathing down their neck. A veteran GM put it this way: we don't discount to sell, we discount to survive. But here's the kicker. Buyers can smell desperation. They wait, they watch, they think, if it's $20,000 today, it'll be $25,000 next month. And often, they're right. Stay with me, because the next part is even darker. Picture this: a mid-sized dealership in Ohio, family-owned, 3 generations deep. Their lot is full. The GM admits to his staff, "We've never had more cars, and we've never had fewer buyers." They slash prices, they advertise, they hold weekend blowouts, nothing moves. Floor plan interest hits 6 figures by the quarter's end. The bank stops returning calls, payroll looms, the staff whispers about cutbacks. This isn't just business stress, it's existential. This is how family legacies collapse, and it's playing out everywhere. Here's where the storyline shifts from discounts to devastation, because while new cars sit unsold, repossessions are exploding. Last year alone, over 1.7 million vehicles repossessed in America. That's families losing cars in driveways at 2 a.m. That's workers showing up to empty parking spots. That's dreams being dragged away while kids watch from the window. And it's not slowing down. Lenders are tightening. Insurance spikes push already fragile budgets over the edge. For many households, that new car smell barely lasted 6 months before the tow truck showed up. But here's the cliffhanger. Those repos flood auctions. Auctions flood wholesale markets. And that collapse eats resale values alive, which means even people who aren't in trouble suddenly find their trade-ins worth thousands less. This is the cycle no one prepared for. Angela thought she made it. Single mom, steady job, finally approved for a mid-size sedan. The payments were tight, but she made it work until insurance doubled after one accident that wasn't even her fault. 3 months later, the repo truck backed into her driveway. She begged. She cried. The driver shrugged and said, "I've got 10 more tonight." She wasn't alone. Multiply her by millions, and you see the shadow side of this market collapse. When repos and unsold trades flood auctions, prices collapse. But here's the strange twist. It's not helping buyers either. Dealers don't pass those savings to the lot. They hold margins tighter than ever. They have to. The overhead is suffocating. That's why you'll see the same SUV sell at auction for $19,000, then reappear on the lot for $28,000. Buyers catch on. They check Carfax. They see auction dates. Trust erodes. And here's the punchline. The trust is gone at the exact moment dealers need it most. Even if you could stomach the payment, insurance is the hidden bomb. Rates have exploded, sometimes doubling in a single year. A 24-year-old tries to finance a $34,000 car. The payment? Manageable. The insurance? $420 a month, more than the car payment itself. He walks. And families aren't safe either. 2 cars, 2 drivers, and suddenly they're paying more in insurance than their mortgage. This isn't just unaffordable, it's insulting. But here's the next twist. Insurance hikes aren't slowing, they're compounding. So even buyers who can stretch today may drown tomorrow. At a closed-door dealer auction, one manager leans over his coffee and says, "I've been doing this 30 years. I've never seen it like this. We're drowning in cars nobody wants." He's not exaggerating. Rows upon rows of repossessed trucks, sedans stripped of hope, electric vehicles collecting dust, and dealers circling like vultures, but even they bid low, terrified of getting stuck with more dead weight. That whisper? It's not gossip, it's a warning. This is where the story turns personal, because the old rules don't apply anymore. The wait until the deals come mindset is colliding with an industry on life support. More and more, buyers are saying, "I'll stick with my paid-off car." Repair shops are booming, parts suppliers can't keep up. 12, 13, 14-year-old vehicles are still daily drivers. They shouldn't be, but they are, because the alternative feels insane. And here's the hook. The automakers can't stop building. housing, contracts, factories, union deals, the machine keeps rolling, which means the mismatch between what people want and what factories make will only get wider. Stay tuned, because what happens next could rewrite the car buying playbook entirely. Here's the part that matters most. How do you survive this? The truth is, the car market right now is designed to lure you in with flashy signs and desperate offers, but if you want to come out ahead, you've got to think smarter than the system. First, resist the temptation of so-called discounts. A dealer might waive $20,000 off the sticker, but that doesn't mean you're saving. Run the math on the payments, the interest rate, the insurance premiums, and the long-term cost. You'll often find that the deal isn't a deal at all. It's a trap. Second, hold on to the car you already have. Even if it needs some repairs, maintenance is almost always cheaper than diving into new debt in this climate. That older vehicle in your driveway may not be glamorous, but right now it's your strongest financial shield. Third, keep your eyes on auctions and private sellers. While the retail lots are filled with inflated promises, the cracks in the system often show up quietly, in back channels. Someone desperate to offload a car fast could give you a bargain that dealerships wouldn't dream of offering. Move with patience, not panic, and those opportunities will surface. Fourth, never overlook the cost of insurance. Too many buyers only check premiums after they've already signed the dotted line. By then, it's too late. Run those quotes before you even think about stepping foot on a lot. And finally, the hardest advice of all, wait if you can, because when desperation peaks, that's when the real bargains come out. Dealers will scream about final days, ads will grow louder, and the pressure will feel suffocating. But remember this, the final days never end. That countdown clock resets over and over, because the industry runs on urgency. If you have the courage to wait, you'll find deals that others rushed past. So protect yourself by slowing down, running the numbers, and remembering that patience beats panic every single time. Step back and look at the battlefield. Dealers are bleeding, buyers are retreating, factories are overproducing, insurance is suffocating, repos are surging, auctions are cracking. This isn't just a slump, it's a reset. And like every reset, it picks winners and losers. The winners? Those who can wait, think, and act strategically. The losers? Those who panic, buy early, and drown in payments. A storm this big doesn't pass quietly. It changes the shoreline, and the shoreline of the auto market will look nothing like what we grew up with. So keep your eyes on the lots, your hands on your wallet, and your trust in the math, not the ads. Because the truth? $20,000 off means nothing when the system itself is broken. If this breakdown opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button, because this isn't a one-time storm, it's a series of aftershocks. And in the next video, we're diving into the next auto myth the industry doesn't want you to see. Drop a comment below. Would you bite on a $20,000 discount today, or wait it out and drive your old car until the wheels fall off? I want to know, because what you're living on the ground is more real than any headline. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, because this story, it's just getting started.